Welcome to the Salt Circle podcast. My name is Hank. With me today is Ben.
Yeah. What's up?
I don't know. Stuff. We read comic books, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say what I'll do the topic introduction. So the plan was to do. Let's see if I can get it all right. Secret Wars, which was from 2015.
Yeah.
House of X and Powers of X, which is an X-Men. I don't know what the term is, but it's like 6 volumes of each, and the order is like kind of alternating, and that is like a 12 issues total.
Yep.
Also 2015.
No, that's 2019. That one's
2019.
really recent.
Okay.
That's like it's like a relaunch of the whole X-Men line.
Okay. I knew one of them was 2019.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the plan was to start some ongoing Hulk and Venom comics, and those are 2015, right?
Those are 2018.
Shit. All right. Well, I remember the names at least. I didn't get to the Hulk and Venom ones, mostly because I slept in until like 10:30 today because it's dark as shit outside.
Yeah, it's fine. There's plenty of
awful.
enough to talk about.
Oh, dude,
I kind of picked too many comics because really I picked stuff that I wanted to catch up on because I've been fucking dying to dive fully through Secret Wars because I've only picked out pieces of it before now.
Gotcha.
And House of X and Powers of X people have been raving about as an X-Men relaunch thing.
I did Secret Wars first, and then House of X, Powers of X. Secret Wars was like super underwhelming. It had some cool ideas, but I think it was too much. It felt like one of those. I wanted to see it as like a movie, if I was going to experience it, because it feels like it's definitely one of those events that's like really big or something, and I barely have any attachment to so many of these characters, and I like not really out of a place of like. I mean, okay, partially out of a place of not being attached, but because I hadn't been following their stories or anything, I wasn't like super attached. So at the end, I was like, why don't we just let everybody die? Like just full death of all of the multiverses. That would be cool. Like, I don't care. Just end it here. But it was fine. It had, I think it was, I don't know. I thought maybe it would go in like a bit of a different direction, I guess, and the ending felt a little anticlimactic to me. But so was Secret Wars like? Was this a reboot thing, or a start to something, or just so in the middle?
It's the end. It's kind of the end of everything Jonathan Hickman had been doing at Marvel and kind of what Marvel had been doing in general. So Jonathan Hickman, he starts writing Fantastic Four in like 2009, and that's where some of the seeds of stuff starts to get developed. Like there are characters in here that have sort of just this run of his run. It was developed over years because. Like those white costumes and all the like the kids, like all those characters that are like not explained at all, like that's all built up as part of his run. And like the running thing of the Marvel universe leading up to this event is like the multiverse is dying, it's like broken, and then he specifically in Avengers starts writing Avengers and doing the story of these incursions where like these universes are like meeting up, and one of them has to die, or they'll both die, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so like that's going on for a while, and then this is like the end, where there are only 2 universes left, is where this story starts.
Gotcha.
And it's the main Marvel universe and the ultimate Marvel universe.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as I started reading it, I was like, I kind of, at this point, like, it doesn't bother me too much, but I like page like 1, I'm like, fucking Hank just in his ability to start in the middle of shit. I swear to God. Like,
hell yeah, dude.
It's just it's so deep. I just
No, I
Just
definitely, this
immediately.
is like, I threw you off the deep end without a life raft. And I was wondering if you would say anything, but you didn't. So I was just, oh well.
I mean,
If you had any questions, I would have been happy to answer them, but
I mean, quite, like, just I have one question. What the
yeah.
fuck?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It was
Look,
like fine.
Peter Quill sticks his toothpick in the tree, and then it turns into Groot, and he goes, I am Groot, and blows up the castle. What more do you need? What more do you need?
I mean, yeah, like there were the legion of zombies that also looked like they might have been remnants of like the old worlds, but also we don't get any.
That's the Marvel
elaboration on
Zombies universe.
it.
That's
Oh,
the remnants of the Marvel Zombies world.
The only thing that I was like actually disappointed by, because it seemed like a really good moment. I don't actually know his full name. Johnny, the Thing. Right?
Johnny Storm is the Human Torch. Ben Grimm is the Thing.
Okay. I just got switched then. When he's doing the Kujira fight with what's his name, and he's like, "Oh, if you're Susan's kid, like, I'm not gonna fight. You do what you have to do," and then just immediately fucking destroys him. Like, he gets wrecked. That was a great moment, but I wanted like another panel in there. Like, I wanted to drag just a little bit more instead of instantaneous death.
No, there's no time. There's no time.
I
There's no
guess.
time, Ben.
Also, okay, so this is
Also, there might be a tie-in issue that's like just them fighting for a comic. I don't know. There are a lot of tie-ins to this event.
bless. We just did. Was it? I'm gonna get it wrong. Mr. Miracle? Was that where Doom showed up again? Was he
No,
in
Mr.
that?
Miracle is a DC book. This is Marvel.
Where did Doom show up in something we just read? What am I
Doom
thinking
is
of?
in Gwenpool.
That's probably it.
Like,
I suppose.
remember in Gwenpool, we meet Doom, and there's like an editor's note of like, this Doom's like not actually a bad guy anymore right now. And then there's like the
Okay.
Doom bot, who's more like actual Doom.
Right,
It's because
right,
of
right,
this
right.
story, where Doom is at the end of this, that he becomes that he's like a nice guy or whatever.
Okay.
Because his face
So-
got fixed.
Yeah, I like that was my only thing, like, because of like, obviously I don't know his backstory too much, or like who he is. So like when they're calling him like Victor and they're like showing his face, I'm like, is this some sort of spin-off Doom, or is this actual Doom? I don't really know.
No, it's Doom.
Okay.
Look, the important thing about Doom is he hates Reed Richards.
Yeah, clearly, because he wants to bone his wife and steal his life.
Yeah. Steal his whole family.
Yeah.
It's great because Valyria actually like got introduced as being like the daughter of Doom from the future and Sir Richards, but then it was like tied into a story where Reed Richards was trapped in the Doom armor and was living as Doom. And then the
Wild.
Doom armor started making him act more like Doctor Doom. So I had to fight him, stop him, because he was turning into Doom.
Hell yeah. Um, I guess the other big thing I had was what's the deal with we had like regular pretty powerful and smart Reed Richards, and then we had like evil, younger, selfish Reed Richards, right?
Yeah, that's the ultimate version of Reed Richards, who became a supervillain.
Is he okay? So yeah, he's an actual
That's
villain.
like that's yeah. He's just that's just the direction they took that character in the Ultimate comic books. Was like he became super evil.
Okay. Um.
Like there's like more to it. Like there's a lot of comics about him, but like the
So
thrust of it is just that he became evil.
okay, I was a little confused at the end. Like, did they use the Infinity Gauntlet to go like reset shit a little bit, or are they just creating their old worlds and going back to the? Because like shit was
No,
kind of
well
back to
they
normal, but then they're creating the
yeah.
world. So I'm like, did they go back to their own, or did they recreate it first and
Well,
then
so
go
they're
there?
using the the power Doom was using from the
Yeah,
Molecule
yeah.
Man, but they're also using just Franklin Richards, Reed's son, is like able to create universes. He created the Heroes Reborn universe. When Marvel needed to sell off the Avengers and Fantastic Four, so they had everybody jump into Onslaught and die, but then they got reborn inside Franklin's ball and written by image creators or whatever. Like he's just incredibly powerful, but he's also just a kid.
Hmm.
So he has so what they're like he's like creating little. He's a dreamer. He has powers similar to the dreaming celestial or whatever.
Yeah,
So
like I saw him like
he's
hucking things into the
yeah. So
sky
he's
or
like
whatever.
creating a universe, and then Reed is like using the power of the Molecule Man to then put those into place as like a multiverse. So
Hmm.
like repopulating the multiverse with stuff coming out of Franklin's head, basically. Because Franklin has like the creative imagination of a child, where he's just fucking making shit.
So many universes where it's drawings of people, but their head just connects to their legs.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, so then like the end is of this where that puts them is like then they're gonna go explore the multiverse and see what's out there as they're create after they're creating it.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
that
they're
I
also slicing back up the Molecule Man so that he's not like starve. He's not like just this powerful bomb sitting there being hungry.
yeah. But what were like the Spider-Men were back like in New York or whatever, and Black
Yeah.
Panther went back to Wakanda. Like what happened there? That's where I was confused. Like it seemed like they went back to like normal things, but
Yeah. I think Black Panther rebuilds some of it with the reality gem at the end, like the
okay.
last moment, because he's holding that one in his hand. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's what's happening there. I didn't. I could read a Wikipedia article to confirm what he did, but like the thrust of it is just like there's a main Marvel universe, and also they like brought back the main Marvel universe, but also Miles and people he care about is there because he brought that dude a hamburger.
Yeah, yeah.
But so in comic books, this is called a crisis, which is really this is like really the first time. It's kind of the first time Marvel's really done it. But it was originally a DC story, Crisis on Infinite Earths, where there was this character, the Anti Monitor, who was eating all the universes, and so it
Hmm.
was a big story where everything's gonna end. But the real thrust of it was DC had done like all these alternate futures and like imaginary stories and whatever, and they wanted to get their continuity into one thing. So they told this big story of universes dying really just as a way to start their world the way they wanted to at the time or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like a way of cleaning up continuity and starting over, but like doing it in a fun comic booky way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In story wise, that's like really the thrust of it. So like it doesn't spend much time saying, and then the Marvel Universe is back, because fucking of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
And there are plenty of other Marvel comics you can read about the main Marvel Universe being back or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it definitely just lost like that.
It's definitely completely overwhelming. I which again is a thing I would like anyway, but I'm reading this and I basically know everything.
Yeah.
I'm not actually lost, so
The
important part is Doom rips out Thanos' skull and his spine.
His entire skeleton, dude. Like the entire skeleton was like attached.
Thanos is like, I'm enough. And Doom's like, nah.
Are you though?
Like, do you have an Infinity Gauntlet? And he's like, no. And Doom's like, well, should have thought of that if you wanted to keep your spine.
Yeah. I was so kind of I don't know. I have mixed feelings about what's the dude's name? Owen Reese, Molecule Man.
Yeah.
On one hand, I dislike having this one thing that it all hinges on. Like basically he just gets to decide what's going on here, and it felt like, okay, then like all this fighting is pointless. But at the same time, I fucking loved it when he was like, "Did you bring me something to eat?" No. Well, then I guess you're equal, aren't you? Like that was so good. I had a chuckle at it. It was a good bit.
He ate that 3-week-old hamburger.
Just devoured it. Didn't even question. Yeah, overall, like
Victor knew he was hungry, and you never thought to bring him anything to eat.
You just kept not bringing him food. You could have had the entire everything in the palm of your hand, but you couldn't be asked to like bring a pizza down.
Also, he admitted Reed was better. he done fucked up. So, well, you said it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall,
but I like that at the end. It's Reed is like, no, Doom was like really important. He held things together until I could figure it out. He didn't minimize Doom's addition to the work he did.
Yeah.
He couldn't bring it home, but he played a role. Also, Secret Wars was there was a previous Secret Wars where Doom also got godlike power, but that's an older comic, and like he was like having the problem is I can't keep the comic and the episode of the Spider-Man cartoon that adapted it straight in my head. I think he was like releasing monsters in his dreams, but that might just be what they did in the cartoon, and that didn't happen in the comic.
Gotcha.
It's been a while. But that's like, instead of the world just ending, there's just this guy in a white suit called the Beyonder who just wants to see everybody fight.
I mean, that sounds like a good as motive as any.
And that's where Spider-Man gets the alien costume that becomes Venom. Funnily enough. Just finds it out there.
I was disappointed.
Battle world.
I was disappointed that these are the dudes who created the multiverse. They just get instantly fucked. Like, I don't know. There's a god, and we killed it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. overall, I think I felt kind of similar reading this as I imagine I would if I went to like see Endgame and Infinity War. Like without having seen all of the other things and without having that investment, I'm just like, I don't know. Captain America, it's all super serious and super cool, and then he's all like, Avengers, assemble. I'm like, lame. Just don't have that attachment, I think. But it was fine. I mean, I wasn't lost generally, like, so that was nice. There was just enough that I knew to like figure things out. Like, okay, Thanos, I know him. Like, all right, we got Groot. I know him.
He
These
says,
guys.
"I'm Groot."
Yeah. He introduces himself, which is nice. More of them could do that.
You gotta read that character page.
So much. There would be a character if there was a character page for every character
Also,
in Secret Wars. It would all be character pages.
Yeah, but most of them don't matter.
Yeah, no, it's like
I love how Cyclops is there in like every issue, even though he dies in like issue 2 or whatever.
yeah.
He dies. He's like not in that story at all, but he's in the character list crossed off. Like even they stopped putting in Doctor Strange after a while, but Cyclops still there, crossed off.
Yeah. Oh, that. Speaking of, that was my other like. What was the deal with him like becoming the Phoenix, and he was like also kind of a god, except that he just like got his neck snapped. What was up with that? What was going? Why did he become the Phoenix?
That's the thing from. That was like his secret weapon, because the Phoenix is like a force of resurrection, and he's used it before. Like the previous storyline in X-Men comics was him. It was like using the Phoenix to try and resurrect all mutants, because mutants were kind of dying out at that time.
Okay.
But it kind of just doesn't matter for this story because he gets killed so easily.
Yeah.
But that's just, it is an accurate representation of what Cyclops was like at the time. So
I mean, that seems as good a segue as any, unless you have more to say.
Yeah, like this is the end of stories that comics you weren't reading. So
Yeah.
I get that you didn't love it. I really enjoyed it. I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
really good. I don't think the art is frustrating because it's really good at stuff like Doom, but not good at human faces.
Yeah.
Like, I think it worked really well at scale. I think it worked really bad at conveying emotion in small moments. Like the O faces, not good.
I got some mainline Star Wars vibes at some points where it's like I don't know what you're supposed to be conveying on your face right now.
Yeah, but it's
A little
like some of it's I really like, but yeah, like the human faces I don't generally. Weird fucked up things looked way better.
Yeah.
The weirder things were, the better the art looked. So that was a little frustrating. I don't know. Look, man, there's Greenland, and that's where all the HoX live.
Yeah, the Green
Good
North.
I just love all the that dumb map. That's just good times, man.
Yeah.
So like every one of those zones has its own like couple issue miniseries or whatever about it. And
Yeah, that
there were a shit ton of tie-in comics that I haven't read, but kind of don't matter.
Yeah. So
I just liked Doctor Doom. God Doom is such a
it was good. It was
just a fun
interesting to
time.
watch it. His
Thor's, his army of Thors.
his like our introduction kind of to his power when he's just there's like that judgment going on before him and they're in the fight,
Yeah.
and then like right when the dude's about to die, he literally like lifts a finger. That was pretty cool. It was a pretty good.
His throne is Yggdrasil. Like,
Yeah,
it's good shit.
yeah, it was cool.
All right.
So House of X though.
House of X and Powers of X is same writer, Jonathan Hickman, but this is the start of a story instead of the end of one.
I felt when it came to like characters and what exactly was going on, maybe it's partially because of like the time skips and stuff. I felt a little more lost, but holy fuck was this cool. I liked it. It was very good.
Did you read the text stuff in the issues? I'm actually
Yes.
just curious. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of information was there to like explain shit.
Yeah. A lot of it.
Hickman, very meticulous. It's all this, everything is planned out.
Yeah. Yeah, I got most of it. Like I think I got most of it. Probably the majority of things that I was like a little bit lost on is just because of the time jumps and like keeping track of that stuff. But there's always maybe it's just lack of confidence. There's always that like that idea that I'm missing things just because I'm not super familiar with these characters. Like I recognize Patrick Stewart character. I know the name Professor X. Of course I see you, Hugh Jackman, but like Jennifer Lawrence, I recognize these people. I don't know anything about them really, but I know they're around. So I think that just like I always feel like there's things that I could be inferring if I had a better idea, but
Yeah.
The scale of like time that they were dealing with and just how things were presented and like just how it played out and how the story was, it was so fucking cool. I loved it. I flew through this shit. And then I was really disappointed that there's more, and I might have to go read it now. Like, I was ready. I was absolutely ready.
The hilarious thing is that the story this stuff's been building to next is Sword of X, where it's like going to be a fighting tournament where everyone has a sword.
I'm so down for that. Yeah, so we were dealing with what were the years? It was like year 0, year 1, year 10, and year 1,000.
Year 10, year 100, year 1,000, yeah. Year 110, 100,000, yeah. Skipping around.
So
And skipping between also different runs of Moira McTaggart's life.
yeah.
Also that layered on top of it.
Yes. So like it was which I understood, like if I was lost, I'm like, shit, which version of this are we in now? But like it's one of those weird things, like I know where I'm lost.
Look, he's got a helpful map. If you just look at the Moira McTaggart timeline,
Yeah.
you can maybe figure it out. Is she married to Apocalypse here? Then that's life 9.
So
But yeah, so and what like with the big thing with the story is Moira McTaggart, previously X-Men character, never described as a mutant before. It was not. That is a new idea for this story, that she is a mutant who has relived all these past lives. And it's interesting, like, I didn't know if what they were doing, but they do. They're mapping this directly onto that Life 10 has always been like the X-Men continuity that exists. So that, like, this has always been the plan or whatever.
Okay.
It's kind of how they're doing it.
So that's actually the thing I didn't fully get. Of course, we have all these attempts and stuff, and really it felt like a super awesome, much better, the hell is that Tom Cruise movie? Edge of Tomorrow? It was like
Edge of Tomorrow.
A better version of that.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day felt a little different. Obviously, there's the comparison, but it's not like...
That's what Edge of Tomorrow is, the action movie Groundhog Day. And then you have the horror movie Groundhog Day is Happy Death Day.
Oh, that one I don't know. I recognize the name, but I don't know the thing. Anyway, I didn't... So, like, they're trying all this stuff, and... I'm just trying to think of, like, how to... So... did I miss like what the plan is when all of this comes to an end? Because they're like, yeah, this time we're going to do whatever, and it seemed like they were getting ready to just like slaughter humanity, but I wasn't really sure.
No, the thing that they've, like, the thrust of the end of this story is they've discovered the true enemy is this other version of, like, instead of Homo superior, it's like Homo ventus or whatever. Like, there's like an independent strain of humans that like grow artificially or whatever, that are like separate.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why mutants don't like take over, become the dominant version of people or whatever, because there's this other faction. And like for most of this, they're thinking like it's robots are the problem, but it turns out robots are just like the stalling tactic for these other people to take over.
And see, that's where I was like a tiny bit lost. Like, is it like people, is it a species that evolves from Homo sapiens, or is it a third branch entirely that comes up after some time? Because I was kind of confused as to the origins of Blue Boys.
I think the whole thing is that, what is it? I'm finding the diagram page.
Okay. Oh, maybe I missed the diagram page.
Homo novissima. A manufactured branch of humanity not restricted by normal evolution constraints.
Right. Okay. I remember reading that.
It's
so
like they're like created by like machines.
Yeah.
But they're not machines.
Yeah. So like
they're not like a part of evolution or whatever. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not bound.
Oh, is this the thing? There's like a note underneath that's like, machine can create this, and then this creates more machines, or sometimes this comes first and then they create machines who create that, like it goes back and forth or something.
I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, so they're just trying to like... Okay, so their plan is to prevent that.
Yeah.
And I mean,
probably...
I want to...
not I don't know, divided by the like Titan network of super minds that are connected through black holes.
Yeah, yeah. I really like. I mean, yeah, they were getting. There was a pretty big scope here.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I also really like the idea of, what the hell was her name? Destiny, the precog mutant who was
Yeah.
like, well, now I know this. I got a little turned around on that one. I felt like, the thing in Awesome Powers where they're explaining the time thing and it like goes cross-eyed. I'm like, wait, okay, but no, she knows.
I know that you know.
I'm,
that I know.
I was so okay. So let me see. So what's main chick's name? Moira.
Moira. Yeah.
So Moira knows, obviously. Like anything that's easy. I get that. What she encounters in her life and then she dies, she will retain. So that's pretty simple.
Yeah. As long as she's over the age of 13 when she dies.
Yeah. So that was easy. Destiny, I didn't get that one. I didn't get how she would then know things.
She just had her mutant power was precognition, so she just would know everything Moira was gonna do before Moira did it.
Was there something with like
even though and it would change based on what Moira was gonna do because of what lives Moira had lived.
Okay. Gotcha. So but wouldn't she know, like, there was something about, like, if we meet, right? Like, if you meet me.
Well, it's just that Destiny's, like, if I meet you again and I see what you're doing is bad, or, like, is gonna be bad for mutants, I'm gonna kill you.
Right, okay.
Like her... Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the I didn't get the how they explained it. Like, I didn't fully grasp the specifics, but later on, when near the very end, when she's like, no precog mutants, like that's bad. I understood that, like, that's, okay, no future, and that isn't that just because, like, the time space, like the Titan thing is like space and time. Or like this ascension thing.
I don't know. I'm not sure why at that point.
I think it's because I know. Okay, so when blue humans, which is a better scientific name for them, when they were going to ascend, and it like seeing if they'd be accepted because it's only non-organic matter or something, but there was the mutant preservation, and then the thing said, like, or the person, I guess, told Moira and Wolverine that if they ascend, like if the person ascends, the librarian, that's the title. If the librarian ascends, then even if Moira dies, like, it won't matter because she'll be like this entity. I forget what level it was. If it was like the stronghold or the dominion, it wasn't that. It was the lower one. But they would know that, like they have. I think it like extends across space and time, so they would like be aware of her, and they wouldn't allow her to like get farther. So,
yeah,
something. I
think
forget
it's
why.
Also, like if she dies, then that resets. But that's like it's the end of the timeline too.
Yeah.
Of her mutant power.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, maybe
it's weird.
Yeah, the precog thing is still, I don't fully get, because at first I thought Destiny was just like a traitor mutant who didn't want them to succeed, but
no, I mean, well, at first she's introduced as, because that's back when Moira's goal is to like cure mutants, to like make a cure for mutants, 'cause
Right,
she
right.
hates mutants. She sees them as like a sickness.
Right,
Her
that's when she had the
second life.
thing, and she was like, okay, it like if it starts as voluntary, then it will immediately become forced on them by humanity. Right, right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
Destiny like basically is like, you need to start thinking about how to help mutants, or I'm just gonna murder you every time. And you have
Yeah.
limited time. You only have so many lives. You're not gonna be able to relive your life forever.
Wasn't that just because like you would get sick of it or something? It wasn't like a literally it only lasts so long. It was just like eventually you're going to want to know what it's like. You're going to want to test the hypothesis.
That wasn't the sense I got, but maybe I'm
I
just
thought that's what it was because she said something like there was like a bit about like whether or not it was like fully true, and then she said like you're a scientist. At some point, you're gonna want to test the. I just remember like test the hypothesis. Like the call of the void will be too strong.
I
I
think
don't
it
know.
was more like, after your 10th time, I'm gonna kill you before you turn 13,
Mm,
so you won't get another shot.
yeah,
That was the sense I had, was Destiny was putting a hard cap on her. Like, if you haven't figured this out, I'm not gonna let you just keep living lives forever.
weird.
But I'm
Why
honestly
though?
not sure.
Destiny is too involved. She's a minor business. Anyway,
Anyway,
it was very interesting. Like I
yeah.
was sucked
Like
in.
the thing, yeah, the thing that's I think is really cool about this is like the X-Men are, as a property, are like really beholden to the Claremont books from like this like Giant Size X-Men #1 on, from like their first stories, and so much of everything about them, even into like the 90s, and is like tied to that. And this is like new stuff. Like, this is just new stuff constantly.
Hmm.
It's like it because if you've read X-Men, it a lot of it feels like them doing the same stories over and over again.
Sure.
Or it's like doing new stuff, but it's so tied into a soap opera that's been built up forever that it's hard to extrapolate. Like the X-Men stuff that came before this, in like the the earlier 2000s, that I really like, is like, is kind of it. I like it because it's a running thing that like. It builds on itself, and it's hard to like get other. It's hard to get into. Like, X-Men comics, incredibly impenetrable.
Hmm.
Um, Even as someone who has been reading comics since I was like a little kid, um, I could never get into X-Men comics because the continuity was too dense. Even as that was like, those were the most popular comics of the world, I kind of didn't get it because I couldn't. They were too insular. And
Hmm.
eventually I found it. My in eventually was like, oh, this X-Men comic has Namor in it, and I understand Namor. He's like an arrogant dude who doesn't like wearing a shirt. So that, at least, I understand.
Hell yeah.
Uh, and then I sort of branched out from there and built on that. So like the thing I like about this is just that it's like this thing of like the X-Men resurrecting or whatever. Like, the stuff's just new, even
Hmm.
if the like the idea that the X-Men's future is doomed is very classic. That is an intricate part of the X-Men, of like, Yeah, the
Yeah.
future's fucked. All the futures are fucked.
Yeah. Um. So I don't think it's like super crucial for me understanding because a very
Oh,
vague
also
like.
the art in this is great.
Hmm?
The art in these two books I really like.
Oh yeah, it was stellar, like
Yeah.
zero complaints. Um, it was enough for like comprehension and understanding to like consider that Professor X is just powerful guy who does big stuff. What exactly does he do? Why is he wearing the helmet? Like I just don't know anything about him. Magneto
So
is
he's
pretty
just
easy, but
yeah. Professor X is psychic, basically. He can read your mind and he has telekinetic powers. The helmet just the helmet is Cerebro, which just is like makes him increases his powers.
okay.
Like like in the movies, it's like he can look at every single person on the planet and look into their mind at once when he's wearing Cerebro.
Gotcha.
But in this, then Cerebro also becomes the thing by which he makes a copy of a person's soul and
Yeah.
like stores it in the database so that they can use it later to
Which is
resurrect people.
fucking cool.
It's
A
pretty
little
amazing.
fucking life squad out here.
It does change the tone of things.
Um, I I just read it, so this feels like a stupid question.
Yeah.
Professor X and Charles Xavier are two different people?
No, that's one person.
Okay.
Charles Xavier is Professor X.
Okay, just
Xavier
so like
for Professor X.
well, yeah, and that's why I was like, wait a second. But it's one of those the fucking click in my mind was like, were they in the same comic panels together? Were they ever in the same room? Like I don't think well because sometimes when we see him he's like in the wheelchair and then other time like when he's Professor he's like standing and I just like it was throwing me off thinking about it in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably just bunching timelines together is what's going on.
Again, like Secret Wars, though, I will say this stuff is Hickman's more about planning and big ideas than he is necessarily about like good at emotional story driven, like character driven story.
Sure. Well, I mean, based on shit we've watched, that's perfect for me.
That's just the kind of the writer he is. He's big planner guy.
Yeah.
So which is again a little less appealing to me personally, even though I really like his stuff generally. But he can leave me a little cold sometimes with some of his other stuff. Like some of the build up for Secret Wars stuff was less interesting to me than some other stuff. But you know, when he gets to the high spectacle part of it, I'm definitely in.
Fuck yeah.
And like his like big ideas has kind of been about his whole thing. Like that first issue of Fantastic Four he wrote introduced like it's like the Council of Reeds, which is like the thing Rick and Morty ripped off with the Council of Ricks.
Yeah.
Like, that was he came out swinging in his Fantastic Four thing with like Reed Richards builds a machine that takes him to the world where there are all the other Reed Richards, and like the leaders all have their own Infinity Gauntlets.
Hell yeah.
And then like over like the next 4 issues, that whole council's destroyed. Like the Celestials come and murder all of them.
Great.
Basically. And Reed's like, being a better person doesn't mean being a better scientist. It means I should be, you know, a better husband and father. That's how that like story ends. It's like, sure. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I don't know. There's still stuff about the X-Men comic. This is one of those things where I heard everyone like this has gotten like a lot of acclaim, this run of X-Men, and I'm still a little partial to X-Men stuff that came before this. That's harder to parse because it was all built on top of each other basically up until like the Secret Wars stuff. And it annoyingly it like coincides with Marvel deciding it didn't care about X-Men comics cuz they didn't own X-Men movies. But now that it owns X-Men movies again because of the Fox merger, that's why a story like this can happen. Where like, oh yeah, now we'll put some muscle behind the X-Men again. And I'm just annoyed that the stuff I liked kind of petered out without a full ending.
Yeah.
And that stuff was driven way more like Professor X was kind of sidelined in that. It was way more about Cyclops.
Yeah, what's
Cyclops'
Cyclops' deal?
Magneto feel like Cyclops' general deal is just that he's like repressed.
Well, is that his power?
His power is he fires concussive laser beams from his eyes.
That's it.
And by concussive, I mean he fires a laser beam, but it feels like you got punched. Like it's like it gets to be drawn like a laser beam, but really it's like force.
Okay.
That's his mutant power. But
yeah,
like he's
you
a
get
tactician and a leader or whatever.
I mean, you get the best of both
He's the
worlds.
Leonardo.
He's a Leonardo.
He's the leader who's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Nobody likes.
Yeah.
Except.
But I mean, think of it from the creation side. You get to draw the laser, and then you also, instead of having to draw someone disintegrating, you can just draw a pow effect.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
They made it
punch
seem
the
like he
laser.
was way more. I mean, I get like that's obviously powerful, but like, I don't. From this, I got the idea that he was seriously fucking powerful, like something spicier. That's cool. That's cool. Punchy lasers are neat. What's with the other thing I was curious about, just from like a, I guess, logistics standpoint? They have the example chart of Omega level mutants.
Yeah.
What? So it seems like a lot of those Omega level powers were like telekinesis sort of shit. Like,
Yeah.
but then I think Magneto is also on there. Magneto just does like magnet stuff, right? Why is that Omega
Magnetism,
level?
Like the
The what?
he can also make like force fields and stuff.
Oh, so he works with like
Magnetism.
some electromagnetic shit, like natural.
Yeah. It's like
the whole
shebang.
spectrum. Okay,
He's
okay,
not
that makes
Magnet
sense.
Man.
Well, I fucking like the only times I've.
Which is the joke me and my friends would do, because like there was a Magneto action figure that just had a magnet in his chest. That's a toy they sold.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, he has like complete
Okay.
electromagnetic. Like there's a comic where he ripped out Wolverine's adamantium skeleton from his body.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that
very
makes
powerful.
yeah, that makes more sense. Is I was like, is cool. Like he does he has like the thing with the gun. He can like disassemble it or whatever. But like, the fuck's he gonna do? Steal my teeth crowns? Like,
Yeah.
so
And
if I'm
then
a
he'll
pacemaker,
And then he'll like run them through your body a bunch so you die because you've got all these holes in you from your. Like in one of the X-Men movies, he escapes from a prison because like this dude's been shot up with like too much iron into his chest by Mystique, and like Magneto rips it out of his chest and then fucking murders everyone with it.
Hell yeah.
That's an X-Men 2 bit, I think. The best X-Men movies.
I've not seen any of them.
That's
I've
fair.
seen like bits of
I only
Logan.
really like I like Logan. I like Logan. I like X-Men 2. I like First Class, and I liked Days of Future Past was okay too.
Are they? They were like all related, right? Like it was a little X-Men universe
Yeah.
thing going on.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. First Class kind of was like a reset, but then they did Days of Future Past, which brought back had like the dark future with the actors from the old movies, and then Hugh Jackman went back in time or whatever.
Gotcha.
Wolverine, so he got to be in it still.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Those X-Men movies are generally kind of frustrating for me because they could be. I just want more. I want more.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's well, I shouldn't say that because I haven't caught up on everything, but that's how I feel about Star Wars. Want more. Do better. I saw that fucking quote. I forget what her name is. She worked on whatever, like I think I don't know if she was referring to the entire sequel trilogy or just Rise of Skywalker. But I think it was just Rise of Skywalker, and she was like, we're working with nothing. Like there's no comics, there's not an 800-page novel, there's not source material to go off of. Like it's all new territory. I'm like, is it though? Is it really? Was there an exact comic that like Avengers pulled from in the movie? Like they just took it verbatim and did that? I don't think so. Seems like maybe there were some sources you could have looked at.
There's one they like take for a title, but they're pretty loose with the way they adapt. The Marvel in particular, the way they adapted.
I mean,
also
it's
like
just
you're building sequels to movies that exist.
yeah.
It's not like you're making original IP. You're building.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
a weird comment, but
especially because there's like a ton of things that were like that had been done in that space, and if they looked at any of them, they apparently only looked at the terrible shit. And nobody wanted Dark Empire. Nobody wanted Palpatine back. They did the shit everybody hated about Legends universe. Yeah.
Mandalorian's been really good. So
yeah,
Mandalorian's been good enough that I'm like, oh, the sequel trilogy is just bad. Just throw this in the garbage. Build off this. This is a way better foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Ahsoka is fucking badass.
Ahsoka is my favorite Star Wars character.
You should watch the last episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah, no. You should watch Clone Wars and Rebels and read the Ahsoka Tano novel.
No.
Boom.
Not doing that. That show has Jar Jar Binks in it. So
Hold up. Did you even watch the season 7?
No.
This guy.
Season 7 have Jar Jar Binks in it.
No, it does not.
Oh, okay.
The last
one day.
You don't even need to watch all of it. I forget where it even starts, but like the last 4 episodes of season 7 are like when they tie in to episode 3.
The problem is I don't like episode 3 either, so that's not interesting to
okay,
me.
but like the other, you're not following. We don't get to see cartoon Anakin slaughter younglings.
Oh, fucking why not? Why are they denying the people what they want?
Well, we're busy dealing with feels. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was that bit was very good. Yeah, dude, Ahsoka is dope. I don't know. I hear murmurings about like what's happening and all that shit. Someone wrote like a three or four page thing on the in-depth Star Wars subreddit about like I don't know, just referencing some shit with like the Empire and then stuff with
You could just watch the TV show instead of reading Wikipedia
oh
or
no,
reading
not we
Reddit posts about it.
well, I just see it, like I'm scrolling. I'm gonna watch it. I'm following my heart.
Shaking my head. Yep, that's fine. I followed my heart into not watching Clone Wars. I'm pretty okay with it.
I mean, I'm going to watch it. I just don't like. I have them downloaded even, and I have time. I just like. I don't know. I started it the other day, like the episode 1, and I saw it, and I'm like, I forgot that these are like a full episode. So it was like 50 minutes or whatever, and I'm like, I just don't feel like chunking that out right now.
You don't love Star Wars. It's fine. It's fine, man. I said you don't love Star Wars. It's fine.
Yeah. A fake fan. At least. Ugh.
You're just a Wikipedia fan.
Don't
Star
you
Wars
dare.
fan.
How fucking dare you?
If then you were just waiting for them to adapt Luke, and then
Yeah, I'll come back when we get the force sensitive droid that Sudoku's himself to save the universe.
I think he showed up.
Oh no! Fuck's sake! Yeah,
I think he showed up in an episode.
I don't know. I'm very excited. I need to catch up actually. I'm excited for the Star Wars comic stuff that's being done, and there's also, I think they just started pretty recently. There's Horizon Zero Dawn comics. Like I think they're just gonna be a short little series, but there's gonna be like several issues or like 10 or something.
That I don't really care about because the only character I like in that game, really, is Aloy, and I just want to play the video game as her. I don't need.
Oh, that's fine. I just like the world.
That's
world
fair.
is so interesting to me, and we get a large chunk of it, but
yeah,
I'm there.
I want more like story that matters. And the comic's just not going to be that.
I mean, I'm reading the comic for that moment when someone's like, "Man, look at this tool I'm using," and it's like a shelled out empty Coke can. Like, oh, it's Coca-Cola. It's from the old one or something.
Wow, way to turn Horizon Zero Dawn into Ready Player One. Thanks, man.
Well, it didn't. We don't have to do that. I don't need that. But yeah, so there's Star Wars comics, there's Horizon comics, and there might I think I'm gonna check out more of the X-Men stuff if it's not like already at a point that's absurd to keep up with. I never know how much of that shit is like pick and choose,
You have to read all of it. Nah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure there are Hilda comics. If you care about that show.
There's what?
Hilda comics.
Oh, I don't care about the graphic novels or anything.
Wow. Look at this guy.
It's just not
things he cares about, things he doesn't care about.
I mean, there's also How to Train Your Dragon books. I'm not gonna read those.
Well, I mean, those have literally nothing to do with those movies. Those are like, those are books for infants.
Yeah. No, the Hilda stuff. Like, I really like that show, but it's one of those things like I think that for me the music is a big part of it, and some of the just having that in a more like cinematic form, even though it's animated.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, there was also the short comic book that came with the that CD I ordered. It exists. It's a thing you can hold in your hand. Not
Nice.
great. It's interesting. It kind of. I think it would be there would be better. It's just a bad album, like, because as I mentioned, they do stories and like full stories for their albums, and it's just such a generically shitty story. Like, it's just a like their first album was about humans living on Mars in the year 2084 who are going extinct because of like machines and their own hubris and war and nuclear bombs, and they send a message back to the medieval ages, and a blind seer gets the message and has to convince King Arthur's court of like what he saw in this shit, and Merlin starts fighting him because he's a jealous bitch. Like, put that in a comic. Instead, we got a stupid romance story. Lame.
Maybe it was a good romance story.
It was fine. Okay.
Oh, so I don't know if you picked up on it in the comic, but one of the things about the post that becomes more explicit is that Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey are definitely in a threesome. They're like, there's like one panel of them all dancing together in this, but like that it becomes more explicit, and like the map of like the X Mansion in one of the issues to come like just shows that they all have a bed in the same room.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's pretty great.
And there's like also like I was looking for, I knew it was a thing. So there's like a note about it in one of the like the text parts about going through stuff. Instead of like this dumb love triangle, what if they just all fucked? Problem solved. Building a brighter future, free of dumb drama that it sucks.
Yeah, man. Look, you want him, and he wants me, and I want both of you. So what if?
Yeah. I mean, look, part of the problem is just that, like, I don't know. So much of the writing around that just made Wolverine a weird, creepy incel, basically. And Wolverine is too popular a character to, like, go back to that. That was a problem.
Yeah.
Fucking X-Men cartoon meme of Wolverine petting a photograph. But yeah, I don't know. House of X and Powers of X are good, but I still am kind of partial to like the ideas of, particularly when Brian Michael Bendis, who's the creator of Miles, when he took over the book, his idea for the story was that the present X-Men have become the dystopian future. So the Beast, Hank McCoy, brings back the original X-Men from the past to the future as like an inversion of that trope where your main characters visit the dark future that's all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get stuck in the future and they can't go back. Like they try to send
Nice.
them back to the past and it doesn't work. So they're stuck there. And I like that. So then there are like two Cyclopses. There's new Cyclops who's like basically become Magneto in terms of being radicalized, and then there's old boring Cyclops who now sees this other Cyclops and is pretty upset about what he's become.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, you're fucking everything I hate. I don't know. I like that. I like that conceit stuff.
Actually made me think of another
What it was built
question.
on. Honestly, I liked the version of Cyclops that was built around then. Like they did good work in turning Cyclops into an actual character, and this feels more like he's reset to boring Cyclops.
Sure.
It's just that like everything, like the whole, like everyone else has caught up. Like there's there was like before it was like a schism where like Cyclops' faction was over here and Wolverine's faction was just trying to run a school. And now it kind of feels like everyone's caught up to Cyclops, except they've put all that heat onto Charles Xavier being the head again.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not. I don't know. I'm less into Charles Xavier being the focus than I was. Like Cyclops coming into his own and like that character getting his shine.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is Krakoa?
Sure. Krakoa, yeah.
Krakoa? Is that like a what's up with that? Is it a mutant?
It's an island that is it's a living island that is also a mutant. Yes. It's
Okay.
from giant-sized X-Men #1. Like it goes back to the start of the Claremont, as early as X-Men comics are that people actually care about. Krakoa goes back to. It's
Okay.
classic.
I mean, I've figured, but like,
Yeah, like again, that era that I liked about they opened Wolverine opens a new school, and like the school grounds are built on Krakoa.
so
So that idea is kind of they've done stuff with that already too.
what's its?
But the portal stuff is new.
Is there an origin to it? Because like the mutant gene is like, you know, it's like Homo sapiens superior or whatever. So like, was this a dude at some point, or is it just
No.
like mythical mutant heaven kind of, except not heaven, but you know, Eden? As
I
they
mean, they
refer to
give
it?
more of an origin than it's ever had before in this, where it was like
Okay.
there was like some even older island that got cut in half, and half of it is locked away. I forget the like Akroa.
Yeah,
whatever.
Acroas or Acroa or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. That's more of it's just a big living island. It's a monster thing.
Yeah.
That's also a mutant.
Yeah. I mean, at least they gave it a place on the council. That'd be shitty if they didn't.
It's true.
Oh, and what about Apocalypse?
Apocalypse?
Yeah. So I guess more specifically, it seemed like, of course, I like coming in fresh to this when Moira meets Charles Xavier, and he's like it's at a point before mutants are really like out in the open. But I assume like, do people still know about them then? It's just like they're kind of. Are they actually hidden, or is it like...
They're actually people don't know about mutants.
Okay.
Like there have been superheroes, but people don't know about mutants.
And I guess I was
And
sort
like
of...
Charles Xavier, because I think when it starts, it's like Charles Xavier introduces himself as the first mutant.
Yeah.
But then like they decided other people were there were other mutants before him. Like Apocalypse was living back in ancient Egypt, and
Yeah, yeah.
Namor was a mutant, and he was fighting in World War II with Captain America. So
Okay.
he, yeah, and Krakoa is older than all of them.
Well, yeah. I guess that's just like I didn't know the timeline of like when. I guess if it like mutants had truly always been there, or if their numbers were like upticking, or what.
Well, so one of the other names for mutants is Children of the Atom, and it's like mutants become more of a thing after the atom bomb happens. It's kind
Okay.
of the like loose idea.
Interesting. Yeah, all right.
Like they're originally created more as like a metaphor about racism against Jews, because they were created by a Jewish writer and artist. So they're like but so it's like they're able to pass in society as just generic white people, but secretly they're
Yeah.
hated and feared.
Okay. I mean, that's sort of
And,
like
and then
them being
the Claremont stuff makes them like a more diverse, like people from all over the world. It's like the initial play on that giant sized X-Men setup. All over the world, like Canada. Where Wolverine is from.
Hell yeah.
And then like there's like and then they moved into being more of like used as a metaphor for being gay. But
Yeah.
none of that's like X-Men as metaphor, I think is only works in a particular moment, because if you push it too far, it's not it doesn't fit. Like it's not the same as being gay doesn't mean you're shooting lasers out of your eyes to murder people. Like
Yeah.
it's not like the X-Men are actually dangerous. Like Wolverine has knife hands. That's not the same as
Well, yeah.
whatever you're mapping it to. So it's more interesting if you're not doing that. Like
Yeah.
you have to use them within the context of the world they inhabit. It works better than
I mean, it would
leaning
be
too hard on that stuff. But I also don't
Yeah.
love it when there's X-Men stories where they just throw them into space, and that stuff I also don't love. Like there's like a balance, but I like it when it exists within the context of the Marvel universe as a thing, and like actually thinks about them as they exist, rather than trying to map them onto something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, discrimination against mutants, like, it's not great, but also, like, I don't know, if someone who's technically the same as you just made, like, 200 people spontaneously combust at a preschool the other day, like, kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if somebody calls you a name, you can make all the iron in their blood rip out their neck.
Yeah, no. It's worth thinking about. It's also worth thinking like that they exist in a world where the government made giant robots that exist only to murder them. Like,
Yeah.
it all there's also ways in which the world in which they live is fucking awful. So,
Yeah.
in extra ways too, so murder bots. You just got to deal with the things that exist. Like honestly, one of my favorite X-Men settings was when fucking Marvel Universe decided that the person that should be running like the Shield was fucking Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. so so you had like the figure of American military is like actually just completely fucking a supervillain. So that was good context for X-Men stories where you need the government to be bad, as opposed to like if Iron Man is running the government,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was how it was before. He
So
was basically running Shield.
are they going to bring I to my knowledge they haven't done this yet, but like are they going to kind of bring like X-Men and Marvel stuff together in the cinematic universe now?
Yeah, they haven't announced anything yet. Like partly because the sale was like it was a big thing of Disney acquiring Fox. So I don't know how much of that had to go through or not. But like the presumption is yes, the X-Men are gonna be brought into the Marvel universe at some point. Like that's gonna be a big thing when it happens. But they have to be able to put out movies again first. So.
Yeah. Well,
Like we've been sitting on Black Widow for like a year without it being released. Although the last movie they put out was an X-Men movie. It was like one of the last things Fox had made before the getting acquired. The New Mutants movie, which is apparently terrible. I haven't watched it yet.
well, that'll be super fucking fun. I'm excited to enjoying and I'm excited at about the prospect of enjoying an X-Men movie only to have it actually just be about Tony Stark the entire time somehow. That'll be cool.
Hell yeah. I mean, at least he died.
Okay, but then they just made the whole movie about him being dead. Yeah, I'm
Hell
looking at
yeah.
you, Spider-Man 2. God.
Spider-Man Far From Home. Spider-Man 2 is an entirely different movie.
You know what I meant.
It's not even the first Spider-Man. It's not even... I mean, it's technically it's like the third Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Because there was Amazing Spider-Man 2. Which was also terrible.
Look,
Just especially terrible. Especially, I think is the word I want.
At least we still have Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse is great.
Spider-Verse is very good.
Better than all those Marvel movies.
I mean, not hard to do. Innovate a tiny
Apparently.
bit.
I mean, I've seen all those DC movies, or most of them. So, those are all fucking way worse than the Marvel movies.
What exactly makes them worse? I know that everybody considers them worse. I know like some stuff has been a flop for various reasons, but like...
What if they're like, just, instead of being fun, they were miserable?
Oh, so they're too realistic. I see.
Like,
People...
what if you made a Superman movie about how you shouldn't be Superman?
Didn't people really like Wonder Woman, though?
People liked Wonder Woman, I didn't.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, I didn't like the story. I didn't like the action. The villain is really fucking stupid. Gal Gadot is fucking great, but like she was great in that fucking terrible Batman vs Superman movie that hinges on Batman and Superman's mom having the same name. And like there, the context was like everything else around Gal Gadot was so fucking awful that she just shone so much brighter. And just fucking having fun, like in a movie that had no joy. She was just like pure joy, and it was really great. And then Wonder Woman was kind of just whatever to me. Like I didn't find the romance in it charming. I found all the World War One stuff baffling because Wonder Woman's a World War II character, and I don't know why they made it fake Nazis instead of one of these just weird choices. Yeah, because it's like these people get gassed. It's still like it's just weird.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
like mostly, like I just didn't like the action and the villain sucked. If you want to,
Villain was kind of lame. He had a good mustache though.
whatever.
Look, that's all I mean, it was incredibly generic, and I watched it.
I
in
mean, I
Russian,
liked.
so
Yeah, I mean, I liked the dumb butchered Justice League movie better than I liked Wonder Woman, just because it was dumb. It
I mean
wasn't
that
great,
is
but it was at least fucking.
ridiculous.
It didn't like. I don't know. It didn't like. It wasn't like exploiting 9/11 imagery the way Man of Steel did. It was just
Oof.
dumb superhero stuff. So.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, it sounds like how I feel. Me and Anya watched Princess Switch 2 Switched Again last night. Not great. But the knowledge that there is now a Princess Switch 3 in the works. But I have hope. I have hope that the Vanessa Hudgens verse is coming together
One day.
one day. She even said she's like, there's confirmed that there's not going to be a fourth Hudgens character, but that if there were, she would want it to be Scottish. She wants to do the accent. I'm like, that's fine. That fits. We can do that. Whatever you guys, whatever characters you want to bring to the table.
We need her to start crossing over with other movies she's been in, though. We need the
Yeah.
cross promotional stuff.
You gotta build up.
It's true. It's true. That's the mistake DC has made, is they never found a footing as good footing on which to build.
Did people, like, obviously, like, the people making the movies, or like people at Marvel or Disney or whoever the fuck had it at the time, had this plan for their cinematic universe, but did like the general public know exactly what was going on at first? Because I know like Iron Man had that Captain America like shield reference, like he's just has the shield, using it as like a
That's just an
coaster.
Easter egg. It's not till the Hulk has a stinger, which is the Incredible Hulk starring Edward Norton, has a stinger about the Avengers project at the end, which is like when it became clear they were building to specifically the first Avengers movie. Like Captain America and Thor are specifically movies building towards that movie.
Okay.
But that's more when it and Iron Man 2 has this whole fucking subplot about why he's not going to be in the Avengers, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, that I remember. But so with Iron Man, it was just like there was kind of nothing yet.
Yeah, no, that was like shot in the dark. Like they were taking a risk on Robert Downey Jr. even. Like they had no idea that would become such a big hit.
Yeah. Okay.
That was just them making a movie about a character they still had the rights to.
Yeah.
As much as it was anything.
Kind of makes sense why it's the best one. Anyway.
I mean, it's not the best one, though. Well, if you can't
Go on.
Homecoming. Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Yeah, for me, I got it would be, but it has too much Avengers bullshit in it for me. I want standalone stuff.
He lifts the hammer. Or he lifts the heavy thing that's on his back. That's like the most important thing about any Spider-Man story is he's like, this thing's heavy and I can't lift it, and then he thinks about his loved ones and then he lifts it. That's the Spider-Man story. If this be my destiny.
I mean, the new Spider-Man story is going forward. There's going to be a heavy thing. You can't lift it. He thinks about Tony Stark, and then he lifts it. And I don't like that.
That stuff, but I don't. It's fine. He's a legacy hero. In the movie continuity, it makes sense.
I just want to see him doing Spider-Man things, you know?
Sure.
I want to see him like. I forget. I remember at the end of which one is the second one? Is it Far From Home?
Far From Home.
Fuckers put home in both of the titles. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's the theme.
It's terrible. Spider-Man Homeward Bound. Anyway, I know at the end, what's his name like set up a thing so like revealing Spider-Man's identity, and like at that point like, or no, he like frames him, right? He frames him as having. He reveals his identity, and then he also like frames him.
He
as
also
having
frames him
killed.
for his murder. Yeah, Mysterio frames Peter for his own murder.
I mean, I don't know why that'd be. It seems like something that could be immediately disproven because like other people who were part of the Avengers team were on board with it. Like, what's his name?
But that well, it was Nick Fury, but that wasn't actually Nick Fury. It was a Skrull.
A what?
It was a Skrull. It was a shape-shifting alien.
When the fuck did we learn that?
I think it's in the like the stinger after the credits, like the next stinger.
I thought there was just
or we learned it in Captain Marvel. I don't fucking know.
Probably Captain Marvel then. I think the thing in the credits of Far From Home was like what's his name? I for the life of me I can never pronounce the Jonah J.
I think that's, but I don't. I think that there's like that's like pre-credits stinger, and then I think there's a post-credits stinger that reveals the Nick Fury Skrull thing, and then shows like Nick Fury in a Skrull spaceship.
Whoever decided that the theme of those films, like as a whole, was going to be putting something all the way after the credits, like that's terrible. It's just fucking dumb. I actually hate it, and I especially hate it because it branched out enough that now every single time I watch a film, it could be the latest Jennifer Garner rom-com, and I'm like, is there anything after the credits? Gotta check, because you never know who's gonna do it.
I think most everyone else got the message to stop doing it because movie theaters hated it.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's like, what, an extra an entire hour on the end of your film.
I don't know. You're not watching those movies in theaters. I don't know why you care.
Because I saw some of them in theaters.
But you don't have to care about. You don't really have to care about the post credits. It's fine.
I have to care about them when I'm with a group of people who care about them.
No, man, that's when you get to go to the bathroom.
Guys, I'll be right back. I'll try to make it in time for the end credits scene. I gotta go to the bathroom. Just leave. People are like, where the hell did you go? Like, oh, sorry, I meant the bathroom at my house.
I mean, you can just wait for people outside. It's fun.
It's just so long.
Also, you're never gonna see a movie in a theater again. So what's the problem?
I want to try to see Godzilla vs. Kong.
All those movies are coming to HBO Max.
Yeah. Yeah. it's whatever.
I mean, it's not whatever. It's a big, annoying way of the world. But yeah, you said you had an idea for doing Venom and Immortal Hulk at some point?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, since I haven't checked those out, and I also have not seen either of those movies, I could just do a movie and do the comics up a little bit.
I don't know. So what Hulk movie were you gonna watch?
The good one? I don't know if there's a good one. I haven't heard.
Isn't like
I haven't heard jack shit about any of the Hulk movies, so either the best one or the worst one.
so like the Ang Lee one that's not part of Marvel continuity technically, I think. Probably has some better moments, but it's also a more uneven movie. But like the Ed Norton one also is just kind of like a nothing of a movie.
Yeah.
Like he fights another big green dude in Toronto at the end. Like, but it is. I think it is a lot shorter. I'm trying to. Ooh, but I look at the length.
I mean,
Honestly, like the most important Hulk movie is honestly the first Avengers movie, because like the secret actual plot of that movie is it's just can the Avengers talk the Hulk into fighting for them? Because he's so much fucking more powerful than Loki.
yeah. I mean,
just
that
watch
also works.
an episode of the TV show.
I mean, whichever. I really don't. The most I care about the Hulk is in that that thing I've mentioned however many times, where it's like he's the last thing left on the planet essentially, and he can't die. Like that's anything kind of in that realm I would care about, but otherwise I don't really give a shit.
The first one is 138 minutes.
That is not Godzilla time.
And the second one is 112.
That's closer. Guess we're going with the second
That
one.
movie, yeah, that movie did not feel that long, but apparently.
Yeesh. And I mean, like, Venom I want to see, so. that one
Venom
I'm
is just
fine with.
dumb, good fun. Also, none of those Hulk movies are going to be really like this Hulk comic.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not expecting it to be, but just for symmetry.
Yeah.
Is the Venom comic? Before I dive in, I'm just curious. It'll probably be obvious, but is he a villain or like a hero or anti-hero?
Venom's an anti-hero.
Okay. I've only ever encountered him in a villain context.
Like he doesn't
that's
like.
not true because Spider-Gwen, but
Yeah, he doesn't like. Like he hates Spider-Man, but generally he just like he doesn't like bad people and he will murder them.
okay,
He's
yeah.
no
So
qualms
he's
about
cool Spider-Man.
killing people. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I mean, yeah, we'll figure out those deets. What exactly I'm watching for Hulk.
Yeah, Incredible Hulk is probably the one to do.
Yeah.
Just because that first movie is just too fucking long.
Yeah.
He shouldn't.
If it's not gonna be great, then it at least can be short.
Not short enough, but
Yeah. Okay.
perfunctory. Yeah, you can email us saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us at Salt Circle Pod on Twitter, Salt Circle Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, various others, and I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm nowhere. I do another podcast though, Pure 39,
True.
and recently bumped up for December, doing 2 episodes a week is the plan.
Wow.
I mean, 0 prep time makes for easy.
That's not true. You guys did a book club for your last
episode. one prep episode a month though. Like, it's pretty easy. If we had no prep episodes, I could bump those out at any time. Just shooting the shit.
True.
But I like
yeah,
it.
that's my other podcast with Junkie. That's a zero prep time podcast.
See, it's nice, and I like doing. I like our prep stuff just because I get introduced to so much shit, and I get to introduce so much shit to you. Got him.
Yeah, I need to have a reason to do things, or I'm not gonna do them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of putting onus on myself to see things or revisit things I want to think about.
Yeah. No, it's a nice balance.
It feeds into the way in which I am broken as a person.
I mean,
anyway.
I just like the schedule of it, you know.
Yeah. If only we could do. If only a regular schedule were possible. If only.
Yeah, that's actually the weirdest fucking thing for. Well, see, I've told you because Sill's in California. Like, when you're farther away, it actually evens out somehow. It's fucking weird.
I mean, you guys were talking about what times you go to sleep, and I'm like, okay, so if Ben was on his hours of sleep but lived in the U.S., he would go to bed when I get home from work. We would literally never be able to talk to each other.
Oh, no. I mean, that was a thing that happened, like, at least for a while. A good while there was, like, my schedule at all in Russia. Like, man, I was interacting with, like, Paul and you and everybody else so much more. Because, like, everybody was living at night.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But so it goes.
So
it's all just a mess these days.
But everything lives.